18 years, more than 4,000 American lives, a war that divided one country, devastated another. But in just one moment at the White House, the president called for an end to US combat missions in Iraq.
Our role in Iraq will be as a dealing with it's just to be available, to continue to train, to assist, to help, and to deal with ISIS as it arrives.
The Iraqi Prime Minister says US troops are no longer needed to fight their battles, but their expertise and their support is.
American, they help Iraq. Together we fight and defeat ISIS. And I'd like to thank the American people on behalf of all Iraqi people.
George W. Bush launched the war in Iraq. The assault in Baghdad brought shock and awe. A deadly attack aimed at removing Saddam Hussein from power. He had weapons of mass destruction, was the argument. None were ever found. George Bush declared mission accomplished in May 2003. It wasn't. The fighting continued. More American lives, more Iraqi lives were lost. ISIL grew in strength in the area. A new enemy, a new challenge, a new fight. Donald Trump pushed hard against ISIL, cutting its land, killing its leadership, reducing its influence. And then he cut troop numbers to 2,500. ISIL remains a threat. The group killed 30 people when it bombed the Baghdad market last week. Joe Biden's decision on combat missions mean the US won't be leaving, but it's clear its priorities lie elsewhere.
I don't think any plausible, reasonable policy goal is ever going to be achievable by this crazy invasion. And so it's a matter of trying to find a reasonable way out of one of the worst foreign policy blunders in US history.
Pulling troops out of Afghanistan, scaling back in Iraq, Joe Biden is recalibrating US involvement in the region for the first time in more than 2 decades. He sees the bigger threat to US national security coming from cyber attacks and China. But he's been around a long time, and he'll know that while he can scale back, he can't fully take his eye off the Middle East. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, at the White House.